Uh, yeah. I mean, that's not how you want to start, like at all. That sucked. The bats were ice cold. It is only one game, I guess. But, I mean, Kevin Gausman was on the mound. That's just not good.
You are Locked On Blue Jays, your daily Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jays. Thank you for making Locked On Blue Jays your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5. And if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. As always, I'm Brayden Iwasco. He's Carter First. You can find us on Twitter, Brayden5 Iwasco. Carter First, too, as well on our main Twitter account, at Locked On Jays. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, same handle. And then right here on YouTube, at Locked On Blue Jays. And hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. You guys have been killing it. Knocking out of the park. The comments, the likes, everything are absolutely amazing. You guys are doing a lot better than this baseball team right now, hitting stuff out of the park. There's only two hits. One of them was George Springer's home run. I don't know how to feel. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. On one hand, I'm like, hey, it's game one. Is it really that big of an issue? This team can bounce back. We've seen them do it before. On the other hand, it was a Kevin Gausman day. There were 2 hits in this baseball game for the Blue Jays. They didn't look good. There was a lot of weak pop flies. There were some hard hit balls early in the game, but they ended up going to guys. Felt like they were defeated at the end of the game. We're going to talk a lot about it. We're going to talk this game, just sort of our immediate reactions. We'll talk the lineup and just some of the guys left off, including Bichette. We'll get into the whole saga there as well. We'll tee you guys up for game 2. Carter, am I crazy, or are you sort of in this like middle ground as well, where it's like, you know, you want to make it a big deal because it should be, because this was not a great game, but also it is only one game? Like, where are you sitting on the pendulum here?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the middle, I guess, as well. Like, obviously, that was not fun to watch. You hit 2 hits. You had 2 hits in the entire game. One of them came in on the first pitch of the game. Unbelievable swing by George Springer. And then it's Anthony Santander who gets the next one. And then just uncompetitive at-bats. So the reason that people are very upset, obviously, you get 2 hits. That's the first reason. The offense non-existent. But you really look at the pitching matchup, and you looked at what happened on Friday. Because it's been it's only been a couple days since we've been on the podcast, but a ton has happened in those few days. The Tigers and the Mariners go to 15 innings on Friday. Again, the Mariners able to pull it off. Jorge Polanco with a single, but Logan Gilbert pitches in that game. Luis Castillo pitches in that game. George Kirby pitches in that game. Andres Munoz. You have 15 innings worth of baseball, you're going to have some pitchers come in and throw innings. It's a must-win game. The Seattle Mariners threw everything at the wall, and congrats to them. They went out on top. But then they're in this unique spot where they had to start their, honestly, 5th best starting pitcher in a game 1 of an ALCS. Because Brian Wu is going to be back in the series, but not available for game 1. And then the other 3 guys, George Kirby, Logan Gilbert, and Luis Castillo, unavailable because of game 5. And you're the Toronto Blue Jays. You have Kevin Gausman on the mound. You've had multiple days of rest. You had this ability to set up this pitching staff exactly how you wanted it to. So everything was looking like it should have been in your favor. If you're going to look at all of these pitching matchups for the rest of the series, this is probably the best one you're going to have. So the fact that they weren't able to start out hot and their offense was completely lackluster after a very good outing, once again, from Kevin Gausman, just another opportunity, it felt like, to take advantage, and the Toronto Blue Jays just fell short.
Yeah, they dropped the ball. They absolutely dropped the ball. And I want to say, it's not like, you know, people are going to go out there and say, oh, well, they faced a good pitcher. Well, there was a lot left over the center here all game for the Blue Jays. A lot of backed up pitches, a lot of pitches over the heart. And this team was missing them. Left, right, and center, they're missing these pitches. And the worst part is they're not missing a ton of them and fouling them off, you know, and whatever, keeping the at-bat alive. They're putting them in play, but they're just weak pop flies to the outfield or to second base or to shortstop. Like, those aren't the at-bats we saw the entire Yankee series. They're not the same fight. They're not the same on top of everything. In the Yankee series, a pitcher misses a pitch and the Blue Jays were going to do damage. So I guess, Carter, I'm going to ask you something here. This team, Vladdy included tonight, really, really showed up for this Yankee series. It looked like they were throwing everything they had, putting in their best baseball to play against the Yanks. But they show up in this series is a little bit, you know, is it a little bit shell shock here for this team? Like, they weren't expecting the Mariners to compete like like a playoff baseball team. Like, I don't know. I just felt like that same energy, that same feeling that this team had all Yankee series and that same heart and grit just really wasn't there tonight.
Yeah, maybe there's a little bit of something there. You're playing your divisional rivals, probably the biggest rivalry for the Toronto Blue Jays fan base, especially like looking at other Yankees fans. They were saying stuff with Trey Savage, which I don't think we're going to throw into this episode, but I definitely want to cover it at some point on the podcast. But that's a different point. Just with your divisional rivals in a series, it felt like there was a bigger one. Like there was a little bit more into it with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., with a lot of guys just on the Toronto Blue Jays. It felt like that was one that everybody wanted, not just the players, but the entire fan base. And now you're at the ALCS, and you do have a lot of history with the Seattle Mariners as well. But I think it's hard to match up against that, that feeling you do get from the Yankees or the Red Sox or just any team in the AL East just having a divisional rival. It's always going to be a little bit different, but that's no excuse whatsoever for what the Toronto Blue Jays did in Game 1. You're in an ALCS. You have the ability. If you win this series, you're in the World Series. You are one series away from accomplishing your end goal. So there's no excuses at all because it's not the New York Yankees. Like you're going to be shot. I don't think you should be able to use the excuse of being shell-shocked or use the excuse of, maybe the Rogers Center isn't as buzzing, because we heard it after that George Springer home run. Probably the loudest we've heard that stadium this entire season, even with that entire Yankee series that just happened. So I don't think that you can make any excuses. I don't think whether it's the Mariners, whether it would have been the Tigers, whether it's the Brewers, the Dodgers in the future, you're going to have to play good baseball teams, and you're going to have to show up no matter who your opponent is. And the Toronto Blue Jays simply just didn't do that.
Yeah, and it's not an excuse on my end. That's just what I saw, right? Maybe for the players, and they wouldn't come out and say anything like that either, obviously.
No, for sure.
But that's a little bit of what I saw, is just a team that just didn't bring the same energy, the same fight. And that just really is frustrating. I mean, Carter, we can go up and down this lineup. Like, who had really great at-bats tonight?
I think Santander had the best at-bats, which is crazy to say. Like, we always talk about how we have this all-in-one approach, and it really just didn't get it from anyone today. And I'm not sure what happened. It felt weird with the Nathan Lucas at-bat, because obviously George Springer, first pitch, home run, the Rogers Center is on fire. Nathan Lucas fouls a ball off of his knee, ends up leaving the game in the third inning, is able to complete the at-bat, does get a walk as well. And they really held true to their approach. They were fouling off pitches, not chasing. Just able to take Bryce Miller deep into counts, especially in that first inning. 27 pitches thrown in that first inning. But right after that, I'm not sure if it was the Nathan Lucas injury or just maybe something in the first inning for me. There was a momentum shift. And then after that, it felt like there was an approach change as well, because Bryce Miller is from Arden's Welling. Bryce Miller threw 27 pitches in the first inning. After that, throughout his next 5, he averaged 9.8. So clearly they were getting more aggressive. And Bryce Young, I keep trying to say Bryce Young because I'm watching Panthers football as well. But Bryce Miller was using the fastball, trying to get at these hitters early, and was really looking like he was trying to hammer them high and inside early on. We saw Daulton Varsho strike out. Saw Nathan Lucas have a swing that wasn't a very good piece of hitting. We had David Schneider again. We kind of know about the high fastball issues that he's had. Even with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., it really looked like Bryce Miller was trying to attack them, not allowing them to get extended and trying to jam hitters. And early on, we saw a lot of hard contact. But as the game progressed, as we saw that kind of game plan be deployed by Bryce Miller, it seemed like it was working pretty well for him. And it seemed like he kind of found something, really found his stride. And this is a guy that was pitching off a short rest as well. Like, they did not have a lot of options. 3 days rest for Bryce Miller, and this is the highest average velocity his fastball's had in his entire career. So it's a little bit strange when you look at it in terms of that. I was getting absolutely flamed for saying Kevin Gausman should go in Game 4 as well if you don't have to pitch him a lot. And people say, Kevin Gausman wasn't very good on short rest. Well, Bryce Miller hasn't been very good this entire season. He has had his best outing probably of the year on short rest. I think, for me, we see how good Kevin Gausman is. We see kind of what happened when the bullpen came in, not blaming the bullpen at all for this game, because you need more than 2 hits to win a baseball game. But I think you got to just throw your dogs. And Kevin Gausman, very good outing. But yeah, it's interesting to see how the dynamics worked with Bryce Miller and how he attacked the Toronto Blue Jays lineup.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll have to wait and see sort of what happens the rest of the series up until that game to make that really big decision that it could end up being. But I want to go back to the Nathan Lucas at bat, because I 100% agree with you. I think the whole atmosphere changed when there was that long break, right? You come off, like you said, the George Springer slam, and then it sort of felt like because of that long break, it sort of took everybody out of it. And I don't want to blame an injury or nothing like that, but there was a shift right then and there that you could feel. And if it was the energy or it was the fact that they didn't pile up any more runs on that first inning, whatever it may be. I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. This game to me was hopefully just an anomaly, and this team can get their bats going again, because realistically, if this team was hitting like they were in the Yankees series, I don't necessarily believe that anybody going out onto the mound has much of a chance. I think they're a very good hitting team when they put it all together. Today was not one of those days, and teams do have off days, but you got to lock back in for game 2. We'll talk about that as well coming up. But Carter, I think we might as well talk about the Nathan Lukes of it all, and just in case they miss him, but we'll do more of that in the second segment here, as well as we talk what in the world happened with Bichette. I'm guessing everybody has seen the video at this point. We'll break it all down right after this. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. You guys know how much we love FanDuel. I just talked a little bit sports betting, and it's a Trey Savage day coming up today. So whatever the over on strikeouts is, goodness gracious, take advantage. NFL season is here as well, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I've said this a bunch of times, but like all my buddies have taken advantage of deals like this. My brother got in at like 150 when it was 150 bonus bets. Carter got in at $200 bonus bets. And now it's $300. So make sure you guys do sign up. You do get in there, and you do get those $300 in bonus bets. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. So, Carter, as we continue on, let's chat a little bit about Nathan Lukes before we talk about why not Bichette. We'll have that conversation right away. But Nathan Lukes in that at-bat in the first inning, swings at a pitch, ricochets it right off the top of his knee. He ends up going out to run the bases. After that, they're like, let's maybe take some precautions with this guy. And then, it comes out that it was a knee contusion. And they went for an MRI. They looked at it. It's not an end-of-the-world thing, but it does give you a guy that may not play this next game, Carter, because that's just, what happens in an injury, and especially in a knee contusion, if you can't swing the bat and you can't get that rotation and even the running, the fielding, whatever it may be, if he can't do it, then, he doesn't, there's other guys that can take that spot. Maybe not as good of guys. Nathan Lukes has been unbelievable, but there are guys that can come in and serve a job there.
Dude, that's why it's tough, because the entire Seattle Mariners starting pitching staff are all right-handers, and you're going to have left-handed hitters within the lineup. And there is no structural damage, like you said, so it's not like he's going to miss the rest of the playoffs. But again, we saw that foul ball. We saw how hard that contact was directly off the kneecap. There's going to be some swelling there. So what John Schneider said was that if he is medically cleared, like he may be available for tomorrow is kind of just, it's a wait and see sort of thing. If I had to guess it, again, I'm not a doctor, but if I had to guess, I think what they're probably going to do is they're going to leave him out for game 2, and then you have the off day, bring him back for game 3, assuming that the swelling doesn't get too crazy. Again, it's going to be mostly like the fielding aspect. It's going to be his ability to run around, I think, defensively more so than his ability to swing the bat. Maybe a little bit of the base paths, obviously, but immensely that defense is what they're going to be looking for. So I think for me, it's like a 50-50 shot. I'm not going to try to speculate too much. It would absolutely suck if Nathan Lukes is not in that lineup. I mean, we saw how gritty that at-bat was after he just didn't have a knee. Like, you could tell he was favoring that knee. You weren't going to pull Nathan Lukes out in that instance. You could tell it was definitely hurting him. Even when he got back into the box, like, the ump was like, "You ready to go?" He's like, "Oh, I guess so." Like, he didn't seem like too excited, obviously. The knee pain did not subside in that moment, but Nathan Lukes knew it was time to shine. Did get on base, so credit to him. But yeah, that's going to be one that hurts if he's not available for a game 2. That is ever so more important after what happened in game 1.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's a dog, right? This team is built on guys like that. They want to be in those moments. They want to be here for this team. And Nathan Lukes, just another guy like that. But Carter, let's talk about Bichette, left off the ALCS roster. We saw the video. I think at first when I saw the very first one, it was him running the bases. And I'm like, yeah, like, let's go, Bichette. And then you see him round second base. And you're like, oh, no, this guy ain't playing. And it's something that me and you talked a ton about. We didn't think he was going to be back, just with how everything was looking. It didn't seem too positive. Like, if there's not a decision made going into the Friday, I didn't have high hopes anyway, but the video was pretty damning as well. Having Bo not here, people are going to say it's going to throw off mojo or whatever. If you could have Bo Bichette in this lineup, you'd 100% take Bo Bichette. He was leading the league until he got injured in hits and doubles. This guy is an absolute junkyard dog, and you want him in there. But you know what? Does it kill this team? No. This team has a lot of capable hitters that can do it.
Some may argue that after the first game.
Well, yeah, maybe. But I'm not taking everything away from this first game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not happy about it, but I'm not throwing everything under the bridge because of one bad game. If we see this happen again in game 2, yeah, panic button might be hit. I might be worried. You might not see me for a few days. I might be wallowing in my room. But not having Bo Bichette definitely hurts this roster, Carter.
Yeah, it's not ideal. A guy that has just shown time and time again that he is a clutch hitter. And again, you see the first game of the series. I don't think this is how the series is going to go. Like next Nicholson Smith had a talk with Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and he simply stated, we didn't hit. He also added that it is one game, and the Jays do expect to bounce back. And what have I said, especially recently, every single time, that something has not gone well for the Toronto Blue Jays? It seems like they shoot themselves in the foot, or like there's a situation where they should win, and it should go well, and it doesn't. And then people start to jump ship. And what do every single time they get punched in the face? They punch right back. And right now, the Seattle Mariners, their pitching problems in terms of rest, they haven't changed because of one day. It definitely helped that you got 6 innings from Bryce Miller, again, Andres Munoz, I think, threw 6 pitches. So that wasn't exactly ideal in the 9th inning, but they still are undecided on who that starting pitcher is going to be. It's probably going to be Luis Castillo or a bullpen day. And if it's a bullpen day, hopefully you can exhaust that bullpen. They do have another day off, but hopefully you get to those hitters. And if it's Luis Castillo, he's working off short rest. That didn't matter for Bryce Miller, but usually it does matter for most pitchers. So it's not the end of the world. However, you have Trey Savage in game 2. We know how much better this team is at home compared to on the road. Below 500 on the road. If you lose game 2 with Trey Savage, you go 0-2 back to Seattle for 3 straight games in Seattle. I don't think that's going to be too good. So I'm going to say this, for the first time in a long time, there hasn't really been a lot of must-win scenarios for the Toronto Blue Jays. But if there was ever a must-win scenario, it is right here on the back of Trey Savage. You cannot go to Seattle down 0-2 in a series.
Absolutely not. I mean, this is, I don't hate you pulling out the must-win here. I think it is too. I think just in mentality of baseball players or in sports teams in general, you go down 2-0 in a series, it's like, oh my God, what's going wrong? What can we do? It is a big problem. And, we had a lot of conversations around game 4 and what the possibilities of pitching could be there. Well, you got a couple guys on this roster now. Tommy Nance, Justin Brule now off. You get Max Scherzer and you get Chris Bassitt back on. What are your thoughts there? I mean, again, I think we all assumed it would be Chris Bassitt, and for me, it's still Chris Bassitt game 4 into a piggybacking role, whatever it may be. But what do you think of the Max Scherzer move here? I'm very concerned about him.
Yeah, you got some switch hitters within the Mariners lineup. You don't really have like this huge left-handed presence necessarily. Like you do have Josh Naylor, obviously, but like Cal Raleigh, we saw how that guy's going to be a problem throughout the series. But yeah, an interesting move. But I'm like, now that they have Max Scherzer on this roster, I didn't love the move, but based off that lefty, like the lefty notion, where Max Scherzer does have a problem getting out left-handed hitters. Whereas it doesn't matter who you throw. Like they're going to have the advantage with Jorge Polanco, with Cal Raleigh being switch hitters. So at that point, I think they're a little bit more comfortable with Max Scherzer because he's a little bit more stretched out. Again, he still can get righty hitters out. And Chris Bassitt just being able to adapt out of the bullpen a little bit easier. I think that's kind of why they're doing that. And again, Chris Bassitt is not stretched out nearly as much as Max Scherzer. So I think we'll see Chris Bassitt in like a 3 to 4 inning role, maybe even a 2 inning role, whereas Max Scherzer, again, very short leash. Probably don't see him a third time throughout the order. But that's probably my game 4 starter. Yeah, interesting stuff with the roster. Justin Brule is gone. Didn't surprise me there. Tommy Nance being gone, that was an interesting move. You take Bassitt and Scherzer. Obviously, Bo Bichette not being on the roster. That video of him running kind of, just absolutely ruined my my confidence, for Bo Bichette even returning at all. I think if you make the World Series, yeah, there's obviously a chance, but it's not looking the greatest for Bo Bichette. So some interesting moves on the roster, and we're going to need a big start from Chris Bassitt, from Max Scherzer, from one of these guys, because when we're in Seattle, looking at this series, it's going to be probably 2-1, I'm assuming, whether it's for the Mariners or for the Toronto Blue Jays. That game 4 is going to be a big start, whether it's Max Scherzer, whether it's Chris Bassitt. they're going to have to put up and show out in a game and a series where they haven't really pitched in a long time. So it's really a flip of a coin on what they're going to do for the Toronto Blue Jays ball club. But it is going to be, I think, the turning point in this series on whether it's from Max Scherzer or Chris Bassitt, on how they do. It's going to completely change the complete notion and direction of the series.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, when I was thinking about it earlier today about the Scherzer Bassitt start, what that will be, I 100% agree. I think it is the turning point. It is the deciding game that it's going to end up being. Because if it is 2-1, maybe you bring it back 2-2, or you go up 3-1. And we've seen this baseball team do really well on these sort of whatever offshoot games, bullpen days, whatever it may be. It's like guys show up for that. The hitters know they're going to have to do a little bit of extra damage, and they take that above and beyond usually. So I am excited. I am concerned. Obviously, Seattle's got really good pitching. It was something that we knew going into this series and how this team was going to be able to compete with that. Right now, I'm a little bit concerned, but it is only one game. Nobody's freaking out. We've gotten a lot of texts and comments lately saying, "Hey, just one game, boys. Let's not lose our heads here." Nothing like that. 100% agree. I'm not over here, freaking out. I'm concerned, but I'm not hitting the panic button. I think Trey Savage is going to come out and have a really good day and shove it. But realistically, we've always said this, Carter. How the Blue Jays don't depend on the Blue Jays opponent. It depends if the Blue Jays are going to show up that day and give you everything they have, like they did in the majority of that Yankees series. Because they have the components. They play the right brand of baseball, the right brand of baseball that allows you to go far in the playoffs, that allows you to win championships. The fact is, can it be done every single day? No. Can it be done almost every day? Well, I really, really hope so right now, Carter, because this game, I'm hoping it was a throwaway and get back on them.
Yeah, I think this offense has been so good, and it's shown you that it has been so good and the ability to bounce back, that I'm not too worried. Like, this offense is too talented to have another 2-hit performance, no matter who it is against. Lowest amount of hits in franchise history. That's going to light a fire underneath their butts. Like, they're definitely not happy after their performance there. You could ask anyone on the offense. That's just simply not going to be good enough, especially the way you started. I think that's the worst part for a lot of fans, is that it felt like that could have been another game where they're just routing the Mariners and they score 1,000,000 runs in the first couple of innings. And it really just is all Blue Jays early on. We have one little change. Baseball can change with one swing of the bat, with one little play. I think we did see that for game 1 of the Seattle Mariners series. Yeah, can you be a little nervous? Obviously, like, that's a very regular feeling, because the first ALCS in the last 9 years for the Toronto Blue Jays, we don't necessarily get here every single year. So there's a lot of nerves for the players, a lot of nerves for the fan base. But we're going back with Trey Savage in game 2. That our faith really lies in the kid's hands. So we're going to dive into this game 2 matchup, what we expect from Trey Savage, what we're expecting from this lineup, and what we expect to get in a bounce back from the Toronto Blue Jays coming up after this short break. Today's episode is sponsored by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all of their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's your 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. And that's where Monarch Money comes into play. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy to use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch is built for the people with busy lives. If you put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does all the heavy lifting. You can link all of your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization on your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. You can use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for half off your first year. That is 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB.
So, Carter, continuing on, obviously game 2, a big game 2. You called it a must-win. I'm right there with you. This is a must-win game for this series. The Toronto Blue Jays need it bad. And they got the guy we're all ready and exciting and excited to see. It's Trey Savage back on the mound after a unbelievable performance in his first playoff game. I fully believe he can do it again. This Mariners offense doesn't overly scare me, Carter. Yes, they put up 3 runs. They got 7 hits. They got guys that can do damage. But it's not the Yankees. They're not going to put up 9 runs on this Blue Jays team. Nobody's booting balls. Nobody's doing any of that. Trey Savage just got to continue to do what he's doing, and he'll have success. Now, what will the offense do? That's another question. Will they bounce back? Will they punch back? Carter, you said it's all. It's all easy until somebody gets punched in the mouth, and then it's how you respond, right? So hopefully this team can punch back. That's pretty much where we're at here right now.
Yeah, like I think you're underplaying the Seattle Mariners offense just a little bit. Like, yeah, I don't think they're the Yankees, but they definitely have some good guys in this offense. Like Cal Raleigh, he's comparable to Aaron Judge. Those are your two finalists in your MVP voting. A lot of people have Aaron Judge. Again, that's up to you guys to decide, but Cal Raleigh, obviously showing his presence in the first game. That guy's going to be a problem. Julio Rodriguez, Josh Naylor, Randy Arozarena stealing second and third base. So they do have some guys, again, that you have to be worried about. Well, this is what I like with the Seattle Mariners lineup and Trey Savage. What did Trey Savage do last time he pitched against the New York Yankees? He was racking up the strikeouts. 10 strikeouts through 4 innings. I believe he finished the game, 11 strikeouts, 11 strikeouts. There you go. So I had a very good outing, obviously. And Seattle Mariners, a team that strikes out as well. Just even looking at the Detroit Tiger series and going back to game 1, the Seattle Mariners in game 1 of the Blue Jays series struck out 11 times. And then you go back to the Detroit Tiger series. They struck out 20 times in game 5. Again, there's a little bit more innings with that being 15, but 10 times in game 4, 10 times in game 3, 10 times in game 2, 8 times in game 1. Trey Savage has that swing and miss stuff. The Seattle Mariners can hit the long ball, but I expect Trey Savage to get a lot of those chases, to get a lot of those whiffs, especially on the splitter. The splitter is going to be his money-making pitch. It's going to be if he can miss bats, if he can continue to be around the zone, especially get into those advantage counts, so the splitter just plays that much more. That's what it's going to end up doing. That's what it's going to end up being, is that it's going to be playing to Trey Savage's strengths. If he can continue to play to those strengths, I think he's going to have a very good outing.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? We always talk about teams not seeing Trey Savage, not seeing that arm slot, not seeing how those pitches move. That's going to be big. And I sort of was thinking before this series started, I'm like, these might be low-scoring games. These might not be the 8-9 shootouts that you get in some playoff games. This might be hey, who brings it? Who can put up 3 runs quickly and sort of, ride it out? Because sometimes both pitching staffs can do really good things. Trey Savage, I just have a feeling is going to be an absolute dog this game. I don't know what it is. I got to look up the over-under on his strikeouts, but that might be the easiest hammer of my entire life. Call it free money, baby.
Yeah, I think if it's 7.5, like you hammer the over. If it's anything over that, like I start to be a little bit more hesitant, but I easily see 8 strikeouts against the Seattle Mariners lineup. I'm excited to see the Trey show. Trey Savage, again, hopefully going to dominate the Seattle Mariners lineup. Give the Toronto Blue Jays every single chance to have that bounce back game offensively. Hopefully it doesn't take, that 9-10 runs that we saw in the Yankee series. That would everyone would welcome that. If they want to do that, be our guest. Like we want to see, a hit parade. But I think 4 or 5 runs probably gets it done with Trey Savage and just that mentality on the mound where their backs are a little bit against the wall. They know that they don't want to go to Seattle with an 0-2 series, hole. You got to go there. You got to go get your game. Game 2 at the Rogers Center. Go 1-1 and get the momentum a little bit back on your side before you head out to Seattle.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, there's a lot to come. Like, it's tough, right? We come on the pod and we could be hooting and hollering about something, but it's game 1, right? I mean, even after the Jays game 1, we said there's a lot of series left. Like, we were excited, but there was a lot of series left. This time, Jays, Mariners, there's still a lot of series left. Even more this time, actually. So it's hard for me to go one way or the other. I think we come back on tomorrow's episode with a much clearer picture of how this series is going to go. And I'm excited for it. I really am. I want to see Trey out there. I want to see this team punch back. And I want to see this team have success. You ride or die with a team all season long. This entire Canadian fan base. Some people in the States have reached out. Some people in God knows where, like halfway across the world, are reaching out saying, hey, I'm a Blue Jays fan as well. So everybody's going to be glued to their seats. They're going to be paying attention. They're going to be watching. Can this team show up and punch back when we need them to? We'll have to wait and see. As always, we want to thank you guys so much for the likes, the comments, the subscriptions, everything. Again, subscribing is free, so you might as well do it if you're staying this long. And yeah, a lot more to come from us. I mean, we got a whole nother week of podcasts to hopefully this Blue Jays team can show us what it's all about leading into the weekend, Carter. But anything else from you before we kick out of here for the morning, afternoon, evening?
Yeah, there's actually one thing that I quickly want to go into. I want to get your opinion on this as well.
Sure.
So in the event that Nathan Lukes is not available for the second game, you're going to have a problem with the number 2 spot in your order. So I just wanted to ask you, I have 2 guys that I think you can put here. That it's not as ideal as Nathan Lukes. Nathan Lukes is healthy. He is for sure my number 2 hitter. But if he's not there, who are you sliding into that number 2 spot to fill the role of Nathan Lukes?
Come on. Do I have to pull the jersey out? It's Davis Schneider. He just for the walks, dude. Like he can put balls in plays. He can bat against either side, right? If it's right-handed, left-handed, he can do the job. And he draws walks. That's something you need out of the two-hole guy, is to be able to get on base. Again, David Schneider, to be successful, just has to play his game, draw those pitches, don't swing at stuff borderline, right? Really battle up there. That's what you want from David Schneider. You want him in that two-hole to be driving. You don't need him to be the home run king. You just have to get on base and set the table for, Vladdy and the rest of the big dogs to hopefully drive you in. That's it. So he's my easy answer. You could say Ernie, but I think I like Ernie being able to drive in runs a little bit more. There's not as many lefties, starting pitching in general. So I think Ernie's better down low. Leave it to Davis, draw some walks, get on base.
Yeah, those were my two guys. Like, I'm leaning towards David Schneider. Wouldn't mind Ernie Clement there because you do have like the hit and run options. Just if you're going off recency bias, like Ernie Clement has been very, very good. So like guys that aren't probably going to strike out much. The guys that should, like Ernie Clement's going to put the ball in play. Hopefully David Schneider can get on base. For Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who was electric in that Yankee series. Again, nobody was that good in this game one, so I can't really fault just Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You can fault the entire offense. It just simply needs to be better, and that's kind of where we're at. Whether it's David Schneider, whether it's Ernie Clement, man, if they want to throw Miles Straw at number 2, I don't care who it is, they're going to have to hit better than they did in game one. Thank you guys for watching, all the likes, comments, support, all the new listeners coming in. We appreciate all of you guys. We have realized that with all the new people coming in, though, about 75% of you guys are not subscribed, so you are coming back throughout the playoffs, throughout the off season, going into next season. We got shorts, we got live streams coming at you guys. Obviously, the podcast Monday through Friday as well. It helps us out a ton, and we appreciate all of you guys. Let's hope for a Toronto Blue Jays win. Let's get this bounce back win on the head of Trey Savage, our king. We need it bad. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully, report to you guys with a 1-1 series tie going back to Seattle.